When I die, won't you bury me in a mountain far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home? Hi everybody, I'm Bill Evans for Bluegrass Pride, and I'm very excited to be taking part in this series of lessons for new folks to bluegrass playing and bluegrass jamming. And in today's lesson, we're going to talk about an essentials jam survival skill. One of the great things about bluegrass music is that you don't have to know a whole lot on your instrument in order to have a great time playing music with others. Everybody, regardless of their experience level, is following the chord progression to a song and as appropriate to their instrument, whether they're playing mandolin, fiddle, dobro, banjo, guitar, or bass, playing what is expected in a bluegrass band. And so what I do when I'm watching or taking part in a bluegrass jam is I'm looking at the guitar player and the chords that they're playing, and I'm relating what I would normally play on the banjo to what the guitar player is playing. It's pretty easy to read the guitarist and their chords, rather than try to glean the chord progression from any of the other instruments. And if you can translate to your own instrument what the guitar player is playing, you can then begin to assemble an accompaniment so that you can take part in a song even if you've never heard it before. So there are three essential chord shapes that comprise a large percentage of the songs in the bluegrass and old-time repertoire. And if I'm playing in the key of G, which we play in quite a bit, we've got the G chord, the C chord, and the D chord. We have a very sophisticated studio setup right here, and I'm going to just move closer to the camera so that you can see the chord. So the G chord looks like that. That's one way of doing it. Sometimes people might fret it in this way, or sometimes this way. These are all basically the same chord. That's the way that I like to do it the most. The C chord looks like this. Sometimes people might fret it like that. C chord. D chord looks like this. Sometimes people will hook their thumb over to catch the second fret of the sixth string. That's another way to fret the D chord. These three chords will get you a ton of great sounding bluegrass, country, and old time songs. The G chord, the C chord, the D chord, and the G chord. A great mnemonic, one way to remember this is when I'm fretting the G chord in this way, I am being very rude with a raised middle finger is what I'm doing there. The C is like a stair step going down the stairs, and a D is like a triangle, or I like to think of it as a smiley face. And that's one great way to remember these chords. So much of what we play in bluegrass music in the key of G is comprised of these three chords. In addition to knowing the shape of the chords, it's great to understand what the guitar player is doing with their basic rhythm accompaniment. Most of the time, this comes from Maybelle Carter. Maybelle Carter learned it from an African-American musician in Southwest Virginia way back in the 1920s. And the basic guitar strum consists of a bass note and a strum, and then what we call an alternating bass. The guitar player will hit another bass note and do another strum. That four-note cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, is one measure. And chord musicians will map out chord progressions to songs by the number of measures of each chord. And once you've got that roadmap down, you're ready then to play on top of that patterns that are appropriate for your instrument for lead playing and also for backup. So I love to get folks started off with the song Blue Ridge Cabin Home because it's a straightforward progression. And if I sing along and play, it sounds like this. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad, and I wandered alone to the place I call home in those Blue Ridge hills far away. Now that was the verse to the song. There's three verses and there is a chorus. The chord progression to the chorus is the same as the verse. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me in the mountain, far away near my Blue Ridge cabin home? Now let's take a look at just the guitar part of that song. There's a progression to the entire song, and when we're playing a song in a jam session, we simply play that over and over again. It's what the instruments will solo over for their instrumental breaks, and it's what the singers will sing in this particular song for the verse and the chorus. Did you catch how many measures of each chord? Listen again. One measure, two measures, and then this chord shape, remember, is the C chord shape. Two measures for C. And for the D, two measures of D, and then we end with two measures of G as well. It also starts with two measures of G, so you have to remember we've got quite a long expanse of G chords from the end of one go-around to the beginning of the other go-around. And we're always cueing off of the singer. When the singer starts to sing a verse, then we all clock into the chord progression. So in short, a great way to get started playing in a jam session is to learn the shapes of the G, C, and D chords, and then understand the guitar basic rhythm pattern, how that's setting up your tempo of the song and also giving you how many measures of each chord. That guitar basic strum again, G, C, and D. Back to G. So next time you are witnessing a jam session, you don't have to always take out your instrument and play. Watch what the guitar player is doing. Now, they're going to be fretting other chords as well as part of the song. And if you're in a jam session, you're feeling confident, it's always okay to ask the guitar player, hey, what is that chord? And they will tell you, and then you can go back home and figure out how to fret that chord on your instrument, and you'll be ready to play that song in the next jam session. Thank you for joining me for this lesson at Bluegrass Pride. You can learn more about me by visiting BillEvansBanjo.com. And we'd like to thank the great folks at the Murphy Method, Murphy, Casey, and everybody at the Murphy Method for sponsoring these series of lessons. The Murphy Method for decades has excelled in instruction that is without tablature through DVDs, downloads, and music camps. So head on over to the Murphy Method online and learn more about them as well. And I'll see you at the next jam session.